Hi. What's up? What's going on, guys?
We got a guest.
Yeah, we do. I noticed he came in. Actually, I sent Lon text in the chat and said, "Hey, do me a favor, send Billy the link because So Mikey and Sergio, I guess, had some shit going on and they had to cancel the show. Kind of happened last minute. So, but we do actually have the man that was supposed to be on their show on this show, and this is kind of we didn't actually plan on doing this. Me and Johnny were in the back room on Fly Zones, and we were like, you know what, might as well just go live since we already planned all this, and it kind of happened last minute. So, but why not? We're here, so that's all that matters. And by the way, the link is in the top of the chat if anybody wants to come on. But yeah, Sam and Rose said we came for Billy. Ha! Well, fuck you. Well, without any further ado, let's bring him on, bro. Yep.
Yo, what's up?
Billy.
What's happening?
You guys got me all messed up.
They got us
we kind
all
of messed up
up.
ourselves, to be honest with you.
This was kind of a situation. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I really don't.
That's cool.
Mike wrote Johnny, and I guess him and or Sergio's having some issues. They're having some issues, so he canceled the show. I tried to get a hold of him to let him know to cancel it on StreamYard, so the shit's not sitting on YouTube. But
yeah, we were sitting in the back room and waiting to go on, and then Matty said, "I said I got a message from Mike. There's something, and the show was canceled." So I said, "Matty, hell, let's go live." We're not doing nothing.
No, I don't think it's anything bad.
No.
They're having. I know the situation. They have issues, and sometimes you got to cancel shit. I mean, I know it was last minute, but
yeah,
there's really not much you can do about it. So, but anyways, since we are live now, what's going on, man?
Not too much. Happy to be here. Good to talk to you guys.
Staying busy.
Billy, been a while. Of course, hey, catch us up. What's up with Billy Kyle lately?
Doing a lot of real estate stuff on the regular still, and
Right.
kind of been moving more towards the video production side. So a lot of it was real estate photography in the beginning, but now doing a lot more video work, which is nice because that's kind of like what I started with. And then the photography work, there was a little bit more of that, but now the video is starting to get a little bit bigger, which is good because I like to do that more than photos.
Billy, you see the market slowing down a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely is. Yeah. And I think that's shown in homes just not moving as fast
Right.
too. You know, I know that talking technically, those interest rates have crept up. So you're talking like 5-6% now.
It is. My daughter, we're gonna pour concrete Thursday, and it's probably the wrong time to build. I can tell you that.
Shit. Well, no, you know what? I don't think there's ever a wrong time to build. So
that's what I keep telling my son-in-law. Maybe when he looks back, he might, how you always say, I don't know if I could build this for what I did back then, but I don't know if that day. Uh-oh.
Mr.
What's up, Lon?
Mr. Abrasive.
What's up, little bro? What's up, Matt? What's up,
Thanks
Johnny?
for popping in. What's
there,
Bubba?
Yeah,
Lon, we were a little confused ourselves, Lon, so that's why.
What the fuck?
I have
Lon texted me. He said, "Y'all all going live at the same time. What the hell's up?"
I have admin controls on Mikey's stream on StreamYard, and me and Johnny were in the back room, and I'm like, there's nobody here. I don't. And then he finally texted Johnny and said, "Hey, we're gonna have to cancel the show. We got some shit going on." So, okay, jump from one stream to another. I said, "Fuck, damn it, let me go set one up real quick then." God.
Yeah, and then people are like advocating your stream on their stream, and I'm like, man.
No self-promotion.
I don't need it, Joe. Yeah, I'm ruthless. I was like, damn, son.
Damn. Oh, well, it happens.
Oh, well.
Shit happens. Yeah. We're here, though. We're here. We got Billy the Kid on, and now we got Mr. Abrasive, so that's all that matters.
Dude, you know what's like so weird when I use StreamYard? It's like I'm using just my laptop. I'm using my laptop webcam, but I'm like so far away. Like it crops in so crazy on the webcam. It's not wide at all. Like I have the laptop on the other side of my desk.
Mine does
really? Because I got a MacBook Air. It's the same. I mean, that's what I'm using.
It's so bizarre. It's like sometimes it crops in to the point where like you're seeing my whole face, but my laptop is all the way across my desk. I had to push it all the way back.
You can't reach the keyboard. Yeah.
It must be.
Now he's got a big fucking head, Billy.
It must be this Apple crap, right, Lon? This Apple crap.
Yeah, you Apple loving motherfucker.
Mine does the same shit. That's why I'm using my computer, because my webcam, if I put it right here on my computer, you're looking at the fucking boogers in my nose. So
it's so bizarre.
Yeah, it's weird.
Tweet.
Toy like a toy. Hey, so let me ask you something.
Hey,
Lon.
Sam got a question.
Go.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
It's 1260. It's 1260, not 1300.
Oh, you don't have
Yeah.
to spend 1,300.
No, you
No.
don't.
Yeah, man.
But
And I mean, let's be real. The Mavic 2 Pro became more than that. It was like $1,700. It's like $1,740 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, it seems as though that little freaking drone's got quite a bit packed in it for being under 250 grams.
You know, at first it's like, you know, you have the initial thing of like, all right, there's a mini drone. Why did they put the name Pro on it? But you start really like diving deep and you're like, this thing meets all the expectations of a Pro drone, except for the fact that maybe it's just kind of slow. You know, I mean, like I fly the Mavic 3. I'm like, this thing has got some kick to it.
Right.
And the mini's just kind of like, you know, like it's like 35 miles an hour top speed or whatever. And that 10 miles an hour is noticeable. You know, I mean,
I'm sure.
It's still a mini drone, but it's funny because I have a shoot coming up and it's kind of like near a crowd of people and they're doing a banner display. And I was talking to the guy, I was like, look, I've got a small little drone that I can use that, you know, you won't even hear it. And that's going to be the drone that I use.
So Billy, what's the biggest surprise in that drone? I mean, like the one I'll say feature. What I mean, the being quiet, or I mean, what's one of the big things you?
All of the mini drones are quiet. I think that it just came as a surprise because I was flying like the Mavic 3 for a long time, and you know, you pull out the menu, like, wow, that's really quiet. But if you, the biggest thing that surprised me was the flight time. I mean, they say 47 minutes, and you're getting like 42, 43 minutes out of a battery. Yeah, wow. It's really impressive. It's by far DJI's longest flying consumer drone, even longer than the Mavic 3.
So I'm assuming you would tell people if they had the choice to buy the bigger batteries, obviously, especially in the U.S., considering, you know, we're pretty much all registered anyways.
Yes.
Like putting a registration sticker on a 250 gram drone is not that big of a deal.
No, yeah. And you know, when you buy the drone, you're going to get it with that lighter battery, but even that battery gives you really good flight time. Like I have 2 of the bigger batteries and like 1 smaller battery, and I still get great flight time out of it without any problem. It's obviously not as long as the bigger battery, but.
So Billy, what about the vertical feature? Have you done much?
I love it. Yeah. Before the drone released, I was actually using it a little bit to make some reels for people like on Instagram and stuff. And it's such a game-changing feature for that purpose, for posting on social media. So if you're like in that realm, which I feel like is the people buying a mini drone, they're making social media content. It's really great to have. It's a really good, you know, tool. You can do it with any drone. Like you could crop in vertically, but it just makes it so much more convenient to have it built right in.
Right.
Lon, did you order one?
I ordered one initially and then I canceled it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, are you still thinking about possibly getting it again or no? No.
Well, here's the thing for me. I don't have a use for it. So if I happen to buy one, maybe when they come up with the drone alone, and it becomes when you can fly with the RC Pro or something like that,
which we figure is probably going to happen.
Right. Then maybe I'll do it then, but I'm not going back to a regular controller. And even the price on the upgraded controller is good. It's good. You know, for another $150, you're a fucking idiot if you don't buy it. If you want my opinion,
yeah,
you're a retard. For $150, come on, really?
I can't believe that they undercut Autel even on their premium version. You know, I mean, like you would expect maybe that to be like $1,050 or a little bit more expensive, but the fact that it's less expensive than the Nano with this the stock controller.
Yeah, man. And just think about the Nano was $1,150 when it came out, wasn't it, Johnny?
It was $950.
The Nano was it always $950? I thought it was $1,150 when
they did push the price up, but then I think they took it back down.
They took it back. Yeah, now they're giving you like a $200 worth of whatever SD card and I think an extra battery. Or so I don't know. They put together a little package, but yeah, basically it went up $150 and then went back down. But Billy, you got the controller for the Nano is a quality controller.
It is good. But I mean, it's nothing compared to having a built-in screen.
Right,
I mean,
absolutely.
At the end of the day, you know, I mean, if you fly with a Samsung, you've got a brighter screen than what comes in the RC Pro. But just think about the benefits of like not having to deal with a phone, and it's just like all built in. I mean, you take it out, it's ready to go immediately.
And the 700 nits is pretty bright. I mean,
yeah, it's bright enough, and yeah, it's bright enough. I mean, it gets the job done when I'm out in the sun. I mean, it's noticeably dimmer than the RC Pro, but 700 nits is just like a sweet spot. And I mean, I'm just giving Lon fuel here, but my iPhone, when I'm flying with this thing, Maybe within the first 30 seconds, it gets.
Here's his iPhone right here.
Marcus just had the same problem. Marcus was flying with his the other day, and it went damn near black.
It goes damn quick. Yeah.
It might be 100 nits. It might be 200 nits, but you can't see that outside.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's insane. And it's sustained nits on the RC.
Exactly.
The DJI RC is 700 all the time. All the time. Not even the Samsung, even this phone, which is 1700 nit.
It'll do it.
It'll do it.
Mine
in and out.
Mine will.
In and out. You know what I mean?
Eddie says the Crystal Sky is 3,000.
Eddie, I was giving Eddie a ton of shit in the last stream he was on, so I just expect him to be firing all night long at me. So
yeah.
Can we mute him somehow?
You were giving him shit on Dono's stream, so I guess it's payback.
No. It was on
Drone Nation.
Donation.
Yeah, Drone Nation.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he was trolling him pretty hard.
That's
so how about the active track on the Mini 3 Pro?
Dude, it's good. I mean,
I got it. I'm not an active track guy, but I was pretty. Some guy just put out a video today, and he was walking off of these woods and shit. That damn thing, there's air,
APAS 4.0, man.
And the drone was
let me tell you something really.
That helps.
Let me tell you something really interesting about these sensors that I've noticed. I do this project where monthly I shoot all the homes that sold in a town. And so I go around to like 15 or 16 different houses. And I pull up next to the house. I put the drone up out the window. I never get out of my car. It's super easy. Just put it right up and then land it. And the one thing that kind of would burn my ass about the Mavic 3 is when I was bringing it closer to me, the sensors were on and it wouldn't come close to the window. So I really actually preferred using my Air 2S because I could fly it over towards me, no sensors, catch it, and be done. With the Mini 3, somehow it knows that the car is directly to its side and it won't come over to me. So the field of view on those
must be huge.
It must be a huge field of view. So you're almost getting not true side obstacle avoidance, but it has a really big bubble around it that I can see. And those, I mean, I have it sitting over there, but those sensors are big on the drone. I mean, they didn't put little beady. I'm going to grab the drone. I can still talk to you guys because I've got my AirPods in, but they didn't make this like small little beady sensors. I mean, it looks like a big frog almost.
Right. Yeah, I noticed that too. The field of view on the front sensors is huge. It's like 120 degrees.
The sensors themselves are small, but the actual
no, they're bigger.
The port that they sit in, it's unreal how much. But if you look at it, I think the
they're bigger.
Sensor size. Oh yeah, it's definitely bigger. I could see it.
They're twice as big.
Yeah, they're huge.
At least twice as big.
Wow.
The nano, but I mean, it's not comparing much because the nano is like a pin needle. It's like so. Yeah.
Have you put the backwards obstacle avoidance to the test at all?
And it works.
Position.
It works just as good. I mean, really, they're kind of pitched upwards on the back. So as you're kind of flying backwards, they look up, which is a similar design to the Air 2S.
The Nano will give you a warning when you're approaching a cloud.
Or it won't give you a warning at all, and you just flying. Right,
I mean, I'll tell you what. That's the first time it did it to me yesterday evening. I was flying late, and it's like I'm 200 feet, and it's like beep beep. It's like what the hell is going on?
Right. Hey, just for some numbers, the field of view is 106 degrees. I knew it was over 100. The human field of view is 123 degrees. So it's pretty close to what your normal peripheral vision is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
Cool, yeah.
And Thick,
that's pretty good.
I mean, Thick, you got eyes in the back of your head in the sense of this. So it's covering a good amount of room around the drone.
Right. Yeah, and it's only 60 degrees in the back. So you got a pretty good, gap here, but still, if it has a good enough processor, it remembers what it saw 30 seconds ago. And that's the key. As it's moving through space, there was a tree here, there's a tree here. So it's going to remember there was a tree 50 yards ahead, let's say. If it remembers that, once it gets 50 yards forwards, it's going to know not to go sideways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it doesn't remember where it was.
When I was using Active Track, it does a good job at keeping good distance between the trees. So like if you have a gap like this big, it'll go right in the middle of that gap. Like it won't be a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right. Like it calculates where things are in space and then puts itself right in the middle. And that really helps it get around these obstacles. But yeah, man, the Active Track is really impressive. And like think about like everybody buying this drone. I mean, this drone, like I've got professional photographers DMing me like, yo, this seems like the drone for me because it really is that good. But think about the mini class of drones. It's really kind of that entry level drone, and everybody wants to be using that stuff. Everybody wants to be using Active Track and Spotlight because they're really easy and fun features. So it's great that they finally added that. I mean, it was really I wish they had it in the Mini too, but of course they couldn't because no sensors.
No sensors.
Right.
So as of right now, everything on the Mini 3 is working as of the latest firmware update.
Yeah, there's and that 10-bit decentralized color came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah,
that was a good one by Eddie. Look.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah,
wouldn't that be nice?
That's my next video.
I was still wishing they had the firmware that allowed the Air 2S to be compatible with the damn goggles. That shit would have been nice. But...
Yeah, that's another story.
Yeah, and look, when I first got the Air 2S, it was compatible with the motion controller.
Yeah,
the motion controller.
Crazy.
That's such a miss, man. They should really open the motion controller up to other drones because they'd sell a lot more of that controller, and it would just open up a whole new set of possibilities for any drone that you own.
Well, yeah, but what are you going to use for field of view? FPV.
Yeah, you're right.
It's got to be the goggles too. That was the problem. It's got to be the goggles too.
Well, then
the field of view wasn't wide enough for the goggles and the Air 2S, so they couldn't do it.
I mean, maybe they make the goggles only compatible if you're using the Air, like only if you're using the motion controller can you then use the goggles or something like that. They probably could have done something.
There's stuff they could do, but that was a crash waiting to happen.
Safety issues.
The goggles for that short.
Do they have a wide angle lens coming out for the Mini 3 also? Did I see that?
I wouldn't be surprised.
It feels like. Why do I want to say yes?
I feel like that was in like the list of accessories.
It is. It is.
Is
wide
it?
angle. I'm going to say yes on the wide angle.
Yeah, look at this. This is on B&H's website.
Right.
Oh, they do have one. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
$40.
0.65.
Shit.
0.65. So that's going to be what? 35% bigger. It's already, what's the field of view now? 84 degrees.
I wonder what the weight on that is if it pushes it over 250.
If it's anything like the Mavic 3 wide angle, fuck yeah, it is. That thing weighs like.
Billy, what about the low light capability? I mean, have you done much night?
So I went out to do some last night to shoot a video, but I got rained on and it wasn't that great. I mean, it's good, right? Like it does a really good job. Just like any drone, it shoots good nighttime photos, but really, I mean, any drone shoots good nighttime photos because you just kind of stand there and let the shutter drag. You don't have to really push the ISO all that high. But yeah, I mean, even up to 6400 ISO, it's nice and clean, the images. But I just feel like with these drones being at 6400 ISO and having a shutter of 160, it's still like too dark. Like even with the Mavic 3, like it's still, it looks good, like it's cool, but it's still just like too dark. Like you really need 1280 ISO, but then you risk going up to 1280, you're going to have a really noisy image, Yeah,
I've been struggling with that too. I've been trying to shoot at 800 because it's one of the two native ISOs for the Mavic 3. So I want to shoot at 800, but then you got to shoot at 0.25, with your shutter speed. So then you got to run down to 5K 24. Otherwise, you're going the wrong direction.
Yeah. I mean, really,
1-to-1's okay at night.
My favorite time to shoot like video with the drone and really photos is during sunset or like the blue hour where there's still like a little bit of light in the air. Yeah. Anything after that, if it's pitch black, I mean, you really got to be flying in like New York City where there's a ton of light, you know? I mean, even in Philly, there's sometimes not enough light for it to like look good.
Right. I think that's with any drone. I think full on city. I think low light capabilities is like overrated because I mean you got to be in an actual lit up full on city in order to actually get decent video out of it.
It's true.
I mean
it's true.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to choose street lights types,
No.
Yeah.
And if the colors and the city, the city colors and the buildings are not there, then what's the point? I don't really see the point to doing it.
That's
why
even small towns.
It's not a deal breaker if it doesn't do well in low light. It really isn't.
Yeah, and I mean the one thing that's helping it is the f1.7,
Yeah.
But that's not a huge difference off of f2.8, so it's not like that's a game changer. But it is the smallest or most open aperture they've put in a drone, DJI so far.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, by far. The Inspire doesn't have. DJI doesn't offer a lens that fast on an Inspire. I don't believe
Dude,
the 1.9, isn't it? The fastest lens that you can get from DJI anyway, right?
Yeah.
Is it 1.9?
I get so many people talking shit about their Inspire 2 to me. Like, so many people are like, this drone is just so old and so crappy. Like, they need to update that thing so badly.
Apparently, it's coming from what we've all heard.
I know. That's like
X9.
Yeah, I wonder. So the X9 will obviously be compatible with this new Inspire, but I wonder like if they're going to introduce compatibility for older cameras, because the X7 is still great. So is the X5. You know.
Yeah,
like,
true.
Those are still great cameras. Really, what I think is holding that platform back is the actual drone itself. Like they just need to update the drone itself. The cameras are still great.
Right. I agree with that. The platform is the biggest problem. You know, as far as a
big, bulky,
as far as
difficult
transmission system and etc.
Yeah. Well, so let me ask you a question. With this Mini 3 out now, you think this thing has pretty much knocked that Nano Plus off its pedestal?
Yeah, I mean, I just can't think of like one reason why to buy. It's the common DJI versus Autel argument where Autel comes out with something and it's like, this is great and this is really good, but then a couple months later DJI shows them up, and then the Autel kind of, the only reason you buy this is because it doesn't have geofencing. Like that's what it turns into, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and because I hear a lot of that too. Geofencing, and I've never had any problems ever.
Neither have I. I'm hard pressed to find. I'm hard pressed to find like one thing that this thing does better than the Mini 3 Pro. Like it's just, it's a shame because they're just like playing catch up, you know. And then once they finally do catch up, it's like, well, here's something that's better.
Well, if you want to fly it really slow, you can fly the Nano. That's for sure.
Yeah. Or if you want to watch it just drop over the water, right? Like it happened down in.
Actually, I tell you what, man is really flying good, but it is, especially in the smooth mode, it is pretty damn slow now, I will say. And even in what they call ludicrous, the Tesla version of the Nano, it seems like the angle is flying a little bit faster. But hey, I'm like Lon, it wasn't bad for $550, you know.
Well, so this is, I love being on streams and talking about stuff because I can get into the weeds about more stuff than I do in my videos. Like I always look at like when product releases come, there's always like this one disruptor that's really going to have to push the entire series forward, and I always feel like it's when DJI or any company for that matter updates their lowest tier product, whatever it might be. Like this is pushing on the heels of the Mavic 3. I've got people asking me, should I buy this or the Mavic 3, which is insane to think about, right? Like should I buy this or a $5,000 drone? And it's crazy that it comes down to the fact of like I almost don't even recommend the traditional Mavic 3 anymore, because you get that little RC, right? And for half of the cost, you can buy an Air 2S and get a really capable drone. I mean, the biggest thing with the Mavic 3 is getting the Cine version and shooting ProRes. Like that's really the big leap. That's the big upgrade for buying the Mavic 3. But for somebody that's just, going to be flying drones or semi-professionally or whatever, you could get away with this and buy 5 of them for the price that you'd buy a Mavic 3 for, So like you see this now touches on the heels of every single DJI drone that they have out. Every single one. So they need to update their Air to make it more compelling. They need to update, as crazy as it sounds, their Mavic 3 to make it more compelling, because right now the Mini 3 is stepping on the toes of every single DJI drone.
Billy, what about the wind? Any wind the wind warnings with that Mini 3 so far? Or?
No, and the wind resistance has been upgraded again on this drone to like a level 5.
Really?
So yeah, so you're up over 30-mile-an-hour winds that you can handle with this drone. Now it's no fun. It's no fun to have to do that.
Yeah, but I've seen the Mini 2 in high winds, and that son of a bitch can handle it a lot more than people actually think.
And let me tell you, there's some things about this drone, like there's a lot of flashy things, right? Like the 48 megapixels, the obstacle avoidance, this and that. But there's 2 major things that make this such a groundbreaking drone for me, and it's the fact that the gimbal can pitch upwards, right? This new design. I mean, that's something that we've been complaining about since the original Mavic Pro, that it has like this hood over it. So now you have a ton of range of motion. That's huge. And also the vertical and horizontal speed, being able to dive down at 12 miles an hour. I mean, one thing that I encountered with the X Dynamics Evolve 2, which God, that drone was no good. But with that drone, when you would try and fly forwards at its top speed, in order to hit its top speed, it also needed to fly down at 2 miles an hour. So if you wanted to hit your top speed moving forwards, you'd be flying down and forwards, right? Like so bizarre. And you would think that with these big motors, it could handle flying 50 miles an hour forwards. But with these tiny little motors, you're able to fly 35 miles an hour forwards straight while flying up or down at 12 miles an hour. Like, this sucker is so powerful.
And look up. And still be looking up
without the
probably 30 degrees or so.
Exactly.
Yeah, how's that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like a Nafi. So how's that working out,
Yeah,
Billy?
so it's not a full 90-degree up. It's like
Right.
I think that their upper limit is like 60.
60.
But then when you're flying forwards, you might get like 35 or 40. But still, I mean, that's better. That's better than like the 0 that you'd get. I mean, you'd never be able to look
Right.
upwards.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's cool. I mean, I did a vlog with this drone, and I went up to Providence, Rhode Island, and just being able to go around the buildings and look upwards and get those reveal shots. I mean, this drone opens up possibilities that I can't even get with my Mavic 3 because of that design.
Now, have you had any Horizon issues whatsoever with that so far?
Not as much as I have with other drones. I mean, when you're fighting winds or when you're kind of jerking around a little bit, it does, but it hasn't been noticeable. I mean, I think the Mavic 3 is more noticeable than this in terms of its Horizon issues. So this drone has been really good.
What about satellite? Quick satellite?
Oh, the satellites boot up super fast. It's just like any other DJI drone, which leads me to wonder and probably think that the Mavic 3 just had some sort of hardware issue. Yeah. And maybe even the earlier ones, right? Because it's all the earlier people that are having those issues. And I think that they've corrected it. Now the people that are buying them now will be fine.
Right.
See, everybody thought because it didn't have Galileo, or was it Galileo? Right?
GLONASS.
No, GLONASS.
GLONASS.
It was the problem, but this one doesn't have it either, and yet it has no issues whatsoever.
Well, it's the location of the GPS module. The GPS module on the Mini 3 is on top. The GPS module of the Mavic 3 is underneath, is on the bottom.
That's interesting.
That might be a big problem.
Yeah, so that's part of the issue. Well, they did that.
Why did they?
With magnetic. Well, it's because they shuffled they moved. They used to have the GPS on top and then the compass, and so they flipped them. So the compass was on top. So that's why you don't get any magnetic interference with the Mavic 3. Period. Ever.
You never.
Ever.
Dude, I haven't calibrated that compass since I took it out of the box.
No, I've taken off from the roof of my car. I've taken off from metal bridges.
I've done the same thing with the Air 2S. Same thing, yeah. Like I've gone to Texas to the spin up and all over the freaking place. I've never calibrated it, and I've never had a problem.
Dude, that's the thing. What it comes down to, man, is like DJI drones. They just work, man. Like it's just like there's like even with these other drones that are coming out, man, there's just no issues at all. Yeah, like I don't even know. Was that the Femi? The Femi?
Yes, the Femi.
Ron loves the Femi.
What a piece of fucking shit.
I mean, even with this thing here, it's like you have to update it, and you have to update every single battery, and you go through the update process for 20 minutes per battery. You got 3 batteries, that's an hour.
That would be annoying.
They're updating the firmware, which is horrible.
Right.
That'd be annoying.
Yeah, I had an update yesterday on the batteries. I think for the Nano.
Well, at least they're working on it. I'm not going to complain about updates. You know what I mean? Because people complain about DJI doing too many updates. Strangely enough, I've heard that complaint. DJI updates too often. And it's like they do. Oh, half the people are complaining they don't update enough. The other half are complaining they update too much. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I agree. I think because the Nano has definitely gotten better since I got it a long time, 3 or 4 months ago. And I mean, it's definitely flying okay. And I mean, they still haven't done the active track or whatever they call their version of
dynamic track
on a Nano Plus.
Well, you know what? It's so funny because we sit here and we trash these other drones when really we've never had a better time to choose drones. Because really, if you bought this drone, it's still great. You know what I mean? Like, but it just when you do compare it to the Mini 3, it does make you wonder like where am I going to get the most out of the money that I spent?
Right. No, it's
all about. That's what it's all about.
That Nano price was kind of a surprise with the controller. I mean, everybody was thinking it was $999 or $1,000. You know.
I can't believe it. I just wonder what they're going to sell that remote for if they ever do separately.
I think 500 is my guess. I'm throwing my hat in for 500, $499.
I would. That seems about fair. It would be, I believe. But the question is, are they going to make it compatible with something else, or are they going to leave it with just the Mini 3?
No, it's going to be compatible with the Air 2S.
They'll open it up.
I'm sure. I hope that would be the only reason I would buy it is if it was compatible with my Air 2S. then I would.
DJI likes your money. DJI likes your money. People that say stuff like, "Oh, DJI's not going to do this and DJI's not going to do that," and me, because they're evil. No, dude, they want your fucking money. If they think you'll buy it, they'll sell it.
And at the end of the day, it just takes time to get this stuff ready. I mean, the drone just came out. People are just starting to get theirs right now. But I think that like probably by like next week we should have some good news.
So the question becomes thank you for that.
Says the beta tester. Says the beta tester over here.
So now the question becomes, how about the people that spent $1,200 fucking dollars on an RC?
It's a different. It's a lot. I mean, it's a different controller.
It's different, but
it's totally different, dude. It's like someone saying, "What about somebody goes out and buys a Cadillac Escalade?"
It's like Apple and Android.
Somebody else buys a Chevy Tahoe, and they're like, "Yeah, what about the people that bought the Escalade? Like the Tahoe and the Escalade are the same car." What
is on the RC Pro though that you could
HDMI out, 1000 nit, higher resolution screen. Let's see what else.
I don't think it's higher resolution.
$1,200.
It seems like it is. Access.
It does seem like it is, but it's not. I think it is.
Well, it says it'll play 4K video on the RC Pro. The RC won't.
I thought the RC Pro was like 400 nits. So is that?
It's 1,000.
1,000.
1,000.
RC Plus is 1,200.
Oh, okay.
So let's see what else.
So
larger internal memory.
Without going into specifics, like I'm talking about this, like we're going to get this potential update coming up, like this update, and there's actually changes to the RC Pro that makes it better. So there is going to be some cool features coming out for the RC Pro that make it better than what we have in like the standard RC. So there still is a reason to have that. Like seriously, like at the end of the day, no matter what, I'd still probably rather fly with the RC Plus. But the RC, like the new one, is so convenient to use. And I've never held a controller like it. Like I've never held a more comfortable remote than that controller. Yeah. Like the way that it fits in your hands, you really just have to hold it to be like, yeah, this fits like a glove.
No antennas is kind of nice. No antennas to fiddle around with. But the range suffers though.
The range does suffer, like especially penetration wise. When I'm in my car, even that is like the signal's not as strong as if I was, using the RC Pro.
Well, it's got a better radio. RC Pro has a 33 dBA radio, and the RC has a 26.
Yep,
that's substantial.
That's big when it comes to.
Well, that's how it should be, right? Do you remember when the smart controller came out and that actually had worse range than the other controllers?
I know, right?
How did that make any sense?
It doesn't make sense at all. So,
I think in the smart controller's defense, to an extent, the smart controller came out before the RCN1. And the RCN1 had a better radio than their smart controller.
Yeah.
That was the bottom line.
I liked how they did the RCN one, where they built the antenna into the phone mount so that it still gave you better range, but it was like not noticeable. So it felt like it was an antennaless design, but there really was an antenna on there. So I liked that. And not saying that they should have done something like that, but yeah, I feel like this is like a test, and they're like, hey, let's see what we can do by putting it inside the remote. And from here, it RC2 or whatever will just get better. Like I feel like this will now be the start of built-in antennas for DJI across the board on their controllers, except for like RC Plus, where you can put patch antennas and stuff like that. So
that's a good point.
I'm assuming you see these screen controllers, these smart controller type controllers coming with future quads when like on a normal.
Yeah, I mean, you look at here's the thing: is like DJI showed their whole hand. If they make it compatible with their lowest end drone, there's no way they're not going to make it compatible with every other drone. You know what I mean? Like, of course, with like the RC Pro, they can say we're not going to make this compatible with the Mini 3, and it becomes exclusive to like the Mavic 3. But if they come out with a controller for their lowest end drone, of course they're going to make it compatible with every other drone that they own. It's just a matter of like, do they go as far back as like the Air 2S? Should they make the Air 2 compatible too? Because those are like year-old drones, so the compatibility is probably easy to make, but then it's also like, at what point does it become worth it? Like, it might not be worth their time to make it compatible, because I could see a Mavic Air 3 on the horizon, because really the Air 3, like that would be.
The Air 2 is OcuSync 2, and I'm not sure that the RC will operate on OcuSync 2.
Yeah, and I wonder to myself, that is a good point, Lon. I wonder when you look at the the RCN one shipping with the Mavic 3, how long have they had this remote controller planned for? Do you think
oh, not this argument again?
Look,
they should have came with the Mavic 3.
Well, look, I personally don't think that it should have, because then you're stepping on the toes of the RC Pro, and then you're not selling as many of those. So I can understand why they did what they did, but you're paying this much money for a drone, and you look at how much little extra it costs for like a Mini 3 Pro. They could have included this as a stock RC with the Mavic 3 and been done, you know?
Yeah. I don't think it's a good enough remote for the Mavic 3, in my opinion.
But then again, if they decide to make this new RC compatible with, say, the Mavic 3, the Air 2S, wouldn't that also step on the toes of the RC Pro? Because of the price difference, why would you spend the $1,200 when you can get the same concept for half as much?
Because a lot of people already bought it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I think that's going to piss a lot of people off. That I just spent $200 on an RC Pro when I could have spent.
I think they're wasting their time to be mad about that. I really do.
Because look, you got a better remote. It's not like they can't have an equal remote for leather. It's better. I mean, it's it's better. But you think about it, like people probably bought the RC Pro and felt like it was overkill for what they needed, but the RC fit their means, so that's why they're probably mad. So they're like, the RC would have been great for me. This RC Pro feels overkill. And another thing, the RC has a longer runtime than the RC Pro, 4 hours compared to 3 hours.
Yeah,
you get better.
That brighter screen, baby. It is what it is.
I know.
So I'm going to assume when we see an update on the new RC where it's compatible, it'll end up for sale standalone. I'm going to assume that's
good.
Yeah.
You got to wonder what they're going to sell it for. I mean, I think, Lon, you're right on. Between $500 and
probably $500. Yeah, sounds.
The smart controller was $600,
but that would be too cheap. I mean, I don't know where that came from, but
that's because of the difference in the price of the Flymore and the Flymore with the RC.
I don't think you could go by that.
No, you can't because they can cut. They can cut. Like, look at the B&H with the Air 2S and RC Pro.
I was going to say that.
Freaking $1,700. I mean,
it's like $500 for the RC Pro.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, the RC Pro and three batteries, wasn't it?
They're still, it's a Flymore. They're still selling it for that much.
It was a Flymore plus the RC Pro.
Yeah, that's
for
fucking nuts.
Another $400 or $500.
Yeah.
That's a loss leader right there. They gotta be losing money somehow.
They gotta be losing money.
You would think, but they're still doing it. I mean, what is it they have that we don't know about? There's something going on.
Someone is losing money somewhere. It's not the consumer. The consumer is making out like a bandit.
Yeah. I almost sent my RC Pro back and bought that kit. I don't even want the Air 2S. But I was like, Jesus, for $500, I might as well just go ahead and have an Air 2S Flymore combo in my pocket for $500.
Yeah,
dude, I love that drone. But you know what's crazy is now that I've flown the Mini 3 with the upgraded battery, I feel like the flight time sucks on my Air 2S. I look at it, I'm like, I'm already at 60%.
Yeah, that's true. It gives you a lot more chance, especially on jobs and stuff, to be able to fly multiple times without having to swap batteries. That's definitely a plus, is not having to swap batteries every 15 minutes.
You know, these companies, and because DJI is really leading the way with drones, it's so funny how when you think that they've reached their peak or their maximum, they just they come out with something else. You know what I mean? It's just holy crap. I look at the Mini 3 and I didn't expect them to do this complete redesign this year. Like when I saw the design, I was like, all right.
Yeah, it was wild. Different.
Yeah. And Billy, you mentioned that. So I haven't even got my Mini 3 yet, but probably a year ago, a year and a half, we talked about we want, better camera, longer battery life. So now we got it. So what's next? I mean,
I don't even know.
Shit. What can you possibly put in these things?
I don't know. I know it might be a stupid question, but what is next?
It has really gotten to the point where this thing, I have no idea. I literally have no idea, because 47 minutes is damn good on a battery. I landed a lot of times without even having
it's almost too long.
The whole battery. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is now DJI's time with this drone, where I think they go to a 2-year refresh cycle, because
good point.
They kind of do that where they come out with a drone and then they really continue to upgrade it a lot, and then they're like, whoa, we've maxed this thing out, we need to wait a little bit more time until technology and the market changes, because we could have different priorities, and even we could have different priorities by then, so that's why I think that now they just need to take a step back, put this on a 2-year refresh cycle, and maybe hit their FPV line hard because there's been leaks of this new Ava drone, right?
Right.
Yep.
They need to hit their airline because that's kind of lackluster. And I think that they need to focus on like Inspire or even resurrect an old lineup like the Phantom to just kind of buy them some time, because if they go too long without some sort of release, it starts to become stale. So they need to stay in the know. They need to stay in the news cycle. So you got to come out with something. So even if it's the Phantom, which I would love. I mean, I would love a new Phantom drone.
Well, I think the thing is that the thing is that you're exactly right. They used to be a 2-year cycle, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 2-year cycle, and then because they went 2 years between the Mavic Pro and the Mavic 2 Pro, and they went 2 years between the Air and the Air. In fact, it went 3 years before the Air and the Air 2, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It might have been 3 years.
They went a while.
Yeah.
So
it could be like Hudson. Every Monday, Hudson releases a new drone every Monday.
Every other Monday.
Every other Monday. Okay.
I'll have you know. Don't exaggerate.
They take the same fucking drone and just take away add parts to it, and then call it something else, and then boom, you got a new drone.
Well, when I look at their entire lineup, I feel like they have to like keep everything in line with the numbers, right? Like they need to they can't just come out with like a Mavic 4 and like they're still in the Air 2, because then the Air 3 is going to feel old, right? So they need to like keep those numbers in line. So I felt like with the Mini, like they did Mini 1 and then the Mini 2 came out right away. So it's kind of like they're playing catch up, right? They're like, we just came up with this new product, we need to catch it up now. And that's why I think, look at the difference between Mini 1 and Mini 2. It was software, basically. It was like, hey, the Mini 1 could do all the stuff the Mini 2 could do, but now we're just going to let it happen in firmware or whatever. And it was a better drone all around. But, at the end of the day, like it was basically they could have released the Mini 2 first, but they wouldn't have had as much time to like continue to release new iterations.
You think this new upgrade on the Mini 3 with its design and the obstacle avoidance, do you guys really think this had anything to do with Autel and their new release, or is this just DJI creating newer designs just to further in the market?
I think it's a mixture of both. I mean, I think that if they came out with a drone that didn't have obstacle avoidance but Autel's did, it'd be a huge miss, And I think that when you look at like the design, I think they had a lot of fun with it. I think they're like, let's just do something that's different. They have the ability to take risks now because they have, such big market share. And I think that this risk paid off with the Mini 3. I think that it looks cool and whatever. But I also think that, it comes to a point of, I lost my train of thought.
Let me put you back on track. I don't think the company with 70 to 80% market share is that concerned about the company with 5 or 6% of the market share. That's my bottom line between Autel and DJI.
So you don't think it's more? You think it's less competition and more just moving on, with future products?
DJI has been innovating their drones.
Absolutely.
Since day one, they came out with the Phantom, came out with Phantom SE, came out with the Phantom 2, came out with Phantom 3, came out with, blah, 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 blah. And nobody was pushing them. They just keep coming out with new drones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like, I think the Nano and the Hubsan and the Feeney, to an extent, I guess, made them think, maybe accelerated the process. But I think they have a plan. If you want my opinion, and having worked in similar industries, they don't come up with this shit day after yesterday. Day after yesterday. You know what I'm saying? They don't. They don't. They didn't plan the Mini 3 the day after. Oh my God! Autel came out with a Nano. We need to, boys, get out back and make me a new drone. That's not what happened. The Mini 3's been under development probably for 2 years.
Billy, can you answer that question there? Bob's got. I got on.
No ADSB, and if you DJI's committed statement is that they're going to put ADSB in all drones over 250. So this drone, because it falls under 250, doesn't have it. So all drones over will have ADSB.
Gotcha.
Lon, you're right. I mean, it's not like it's not like the Nano came out, 6 months ago and they're like, we need to, make a new drone right now. Yeah.
Come on, slaves.
I think they have I think they have it to the point where there's, like you said, there's a plan. And like, I can see this plan with DJI for the next 10 fucking years. They've got an idea of what they want out, when they want it, not giving two shits about what the competition does or doesn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, they're at the top of the they've got the market share and they can do whatever they want and people are still going to buy them no matter what the competition does.
And they always make it somehow better than the drone that everybody has, to the point where Mavic 3 owners are like, holy shit, I need this Mini 3. You know what I mean? So they do a good job of that. And I remember what I was going to say. You know, you see this trickle down thing happen in all products, and of course drones. You know, you see different features trickle down. So the fact that this drone has O3 is incredible. But then that makes you think, like, you look at what this drone has and what's trickled down from, you know, other previous drones. So that kind of keeps you in the loop of like what's coming. So, you know, you can imagine now, since the lowest tier drone has gotten O3 and obstacle avoidance sensors, you just wonder where that technology is going forward with DJI, because they felt comfortable enough to put those things in this drone, to the point where now they're like, well, we don't care, because the Mavic 4 coming out in a year from now is going to have, you know, 16 sensors on it, and it's going to have 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
so let's do some speculation here. What the hell could we possibly see? I'm going to assume that the next new drone will be the Air 3.
Yeah,
I'm going to assume.
Well, the Avata maybe.
So.
Well, I mean, besides FPV, the Avata is going to be next. That's for sure. That new Cinewolf, that's going to be next. But the question is, when it comes to consumer camera drones, what could they possibly put on a Air 3 that would get us all to the point where we say, you know, screw the Mavic 3?
It's going to be a larger Mini 3. It's going to be a larger
Pretty much,
Mini 3, in my
right?
opinion.
I could see them taking, like, and because they love to reuse parts, they love to reuse, you know, different things from their drones to save money. So I could see them using like the Pocket 2 camera, which is up to 64 megapixels, right? And maybe boost that resolution from 4K, so you can now shoot, you know, in a higher resolution. What's up, Rob?
Hey guys.
Hey, Ron, what's up, buddy?
You know,
I disagree with that,
Billy.
Billy.
In other parts of the world, a 250 is a big thing. We don't think about it as much here. So, you know, that market is definitely, they're going after, I mean, you know, worldwide sales, you know?
Well, look, I love to have this drone because, like, and not right now and not recently, but I would frequently go up to Canada just for fun, because it's pretty damn close. It's only like a 6-hour ride, and it's fun to go up to Toronto. So bringing this drone now is going to be awesome. Like, I feel like I'm not going to be held back. Like, I'm like, oh, I'll just take this and still get some extra.
With under 250 grams in Canada,
You can't bring your big battery
anywhere.
Yeah, I'll leave the big batteries at home, so that you know, it's not even a question, guys.
At the same time, though, I see 250 being very, very useful in the United States because of the whole remote ID situation, which I've said from the beginning. I believe under 250 grams will be exempt for recreational flyers with remote ID.
That'd be nice. Yeah,
that would be huge for the average recreational pilot wanting to buy under 250 to be able to skirt around having to deal with that remote identification issue.
It's true.
So I can see it being a huge deal. Now, it may not seem like it now. Everybody says, okay, well, you're already registered, so just put the sticker on the damn drone. But when remote ID comes, and we all know it's coming, that's going to be a big topic, being under 250 to skirt the remote ID situation. So
yeah,
I mean, that's my opinion, but I mean, I think that's what's going to happen.
You know, a couple of things, like something that I'm working on a video right now going over the different intelligent flight features that this drone has, because it is the first Mini 3 that has intelligent flight modes. You know, I'm kind of upset about is the fact that these drones used to have so many more intelligent flight features that are just not available on them anymore. I mean, one in particular is like the follow me mode, where the drone would follow the GPS location of the remote controller rather than active track, right?
Yep.
So I told you about that project I have where I go and I video these different properties around, you know, the town. And I would love to be able to have the drone follow me through the neighborhood without having to worry, oh, is it going to lose me, and keep checking. But like the GPS signal's like dead on. So I would love to have some of these intelligent flight features resurrected and brought from the older drones, because there was upwards of like 12. Like my most viewed video is an intelligent flight features.
I remember that. Where you
hey, Billy, let me stop you here. The most feature-packed drone DJI ever released was the original Mavic Pro. By the time they finished the firmware, that had more stuff in it, the stuff you're talking about here, than any drone released since.
It's so true.
You can fly with your phone. You can fly with your phone with a Mavic.
It had
Pro.
waypoints and all too, didn't it? Did it have
waypoints?
What was the reasoning behind taking out waypoints? I don't understand that. The only way you can get to waypoints is through hyperlapse. But
I don't know. It must have been the same guy who took live streaming out of all the DJI drones. Must have put waypoints out too. Because it used to be in the Phantom 4 era, and even the original Mavic Pro, you could just hit that easy button. You were live on YouTube or Facebook. Now you have to do all the
RTMP and stuff
to go live. So a lot of people fly the old Phantoms because they can go live with the easy button. So again, they took that out. They took waypoints out. You know, I guess waypoints is only safe for enterprise level drones now from DJI. And speaking of enterprise,
I can answer that.
You said the next drone from DJI besides the Avanta would be the Air 3. According to the roadmap, it's the Inspire 3 in the fall.
Oh yeah,
Well,
he's right. Actually,
So I see.
Billy probably had the Inspire 3 already, so he may have to repeat himself from this portion of the show.
I crashed my Inspire 2, and I didn't get it fixed for the longest time. It had like a bum leg. I didn't get it fixed for the longest time, and I was like, I need to get on getting this fixed in case they do come out with an Inspire 3, so I can make some comparison videos. So, well, no, I mean, here's what I think is like DJI loves to do this, like, I don't know if you call it bait and switch type thing, where they come out with this product and then they come out with an inferior product that is like probably what everybody really wants, and they're like, well, shit, man, like now I need to get that one. So I could see them doing like they came out the Mavic 3 and all the professionals are like, I need that. And then they come out with the Inspire 3 and the professionals like, I need that. Yep. And then they just drop a Phantom that is actually really what all the professionals need. And they're like, well, I need this now. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So it's just a constant cycle.
Do you think?
Yeah, I disagree that it's a bait and switch, though. Yeah. I think all good companies try to fill out their lineup. You know what I mean? It's not a bait and switch for Chevy to have a Cruise and to have a Camaro. You know what I mean?
Well, what about the Air 2?
You know what I mean?
What about the Air 2 and the Air 2S? What was that all about? Like, what? Why did they keep?
Well, okay,
why did they jump on that so quick?
I think that they did it. I think that they wanted to buy some more time until they had to come out with the Mavic Air 3, because now we're going to be going on like 2.5 years without a Mavic Air. But the Air 2S made it seem like less time, because if you look and they came out the Mavic Air 3 and then they came out the Mavic 3, I feel like just that number 3 would make it feel like the Air 3 was already better than the Mavic 3. Like, it's just all like psychological stuff. You know what I mean?
They know what they're doing.
And Billy, I think the Air 2S really replaced the Mavic 2 Pro more than did anything else.
Absolutely.
It was for people that wanted to upgrade from their Mavic Pro, especially the 4K 60 people, and that was kind of a stopgap between the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic 3.
And let's not forget that the Air 2S is the highest resolution shooting consumer level drone that DJI makes at 5.2K. Yes. It shoots a higher resolution video than the Mavic 3.
Yes,
that's true.
Yeah.
5.4.
5.4. Why put 5.4 on the Air 2S and not 5.4 instead of 5.1 on the Mavic 3? The Mavic 3 is 5.1, right?
Yes, it could be censored, but do you know what? When I initially reviewed the Mavic 3 and they send like a spec sheet beforehand and everything, I read it. When I saw that and I only saw 5.1K, I knew that would be an issue. But I said they're doing that because there needs to be another professional drone in the pipeline that can shoot 6K, and it makes it worthwhile to get a higher resolution out of that higher end drone. So this drone, I mean, really the Mavic 3 at 5.1K, it really should shoot a higher resolution video than that. But I think that there's something in the pipeline that's going to shoot 6.1K, 6.2K, whatever. There's going to have something that's a higher resolution that justifies. It's another reason why you go and buy that new Phantom or that new Inspire.
Is, I'm assuming, where that new Inspire is coming through.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what are
the new Inspire is going to do 8K.
But that's on an enterprise level.
Yeah,
that's on an enterprise level, though. Isn't the Mavic 3 on the consumer level supposedly?
Yes.
Prosumer.
Prosumer.
No. There's no such thing as prosumer on the DJI's website.
Consumer and enterprise.
Consumer and enterprise.
Consumer and
there
enterprise.
used to be pro. They used to be professional. They dropped professional now. It's only consumer and enterprise. That's it. It used to be professional, and the Inspire 2 was the only professional drone they sold. But they had a professional line because they had the Osmos. Remember the Osmo Raw and the Osmo?
But now they have the Ronin.
I still got one.
Now they have the
Ronin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, so now we had everybody complaining and bitching about the delivery time on the Mini 3. And now
don't go there, Matt.
Now all of a sudden they're being delivered.
No, they being shipped. They ain't being delivered.
Yeah, ain't no deliveries yet, Matt. Get it right. It's only shipping labels were printed.
It was the shipping, and everybody was complaining because of the shipping, and that it was supposed to be pushed off until June or July or whatever, and now they're being shipped.
Wait a minute, we got Lon here. Lon predicted the 31st a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it said initially. It said 31 on the website.
Yeah, 31st. Yeah.
And it's not even.
Here's my question, though: where are they being shipped
somebody
from?
sent me a screenshot of where it says the 31st someplace.
It did.
It did. I take my word for it.
It did, huh? It's not there now,
yeah,
right?
Well, the problem is, I think.
So now it says June 29th.
Yeah, now it
says June 29th.
But Ron, you guys ordered yours early. You ordered it before 9 a.m.
Within the first 5 minutes of release.
I think what happened there is their website wasn't updated yet, and that's why there was no shipping date on your guys' orders. Because it wasn't supposed to be till 9 a.m., but you guys ordered it like what, 8:50 or 8:55?
Yeah, we first saw it up on the site at 8:52 Eastern Standard Time.
I just think it wasn't updated yet. That's why you didn't have a ship date on there. But I believe as soon as at 9 a.m. there was a May 31st ship date on there. I believe
it was. Where are they being shipped from?
I don't know.
But I heard they're in California.
If they're coming from California, they're going to make it. If they're coming from China, the customs might fuck you. It says, it won't be DJI's fault. It'll be customs.
It says that all of their...
I believe Matt's right. I think they're in the U.S. because people that have kind of dived into the UPS website have seen. I think they've seen that they're in the
U.S. It is coming from DJI California.
So I think that there's a third-party company that handles DJI's shipping called like Cycron or something like that. Because if you notice, it's never from DJI; it's from like Cycron LLC or whatever. So I think that there's a third-party company handling their shipping. So for whatever that's worth.
All big companies have a logistics type of organization like that working.
Yeah.
So they're going to make it. Like I said, if they're coming out of California, they're going to make it. They used to have a distribution in Atlanta, Georgia, but they closed it after they got put on the ban list. Which is too bad because they were building an assembly factory in North Carolina, and then that got put on the back burner because they got put on the naughty list too.
Yeah,
they'd already had a property picked out. They had a property picked out and everything to make an assembly plant here in the U.S.
Do you guys see a future where DJI gets off that list?
I was gonna ask, do you see a future where DJI gets to the point where we can no longer buy them here? And
I don't think so.
Bill, I'll answer Billy's question. If DJI's lobbyists have more money than the American company like Skydio's lobbyists have, then they'll get off. If they don't have as much capital, they won't get off that list. That's how things work in Washington. Sorry about the political.
Who went to school with who is how that works.
It is political.
Who went to school with who plays golf with who's banging who's secretary.
But that is true, Lon, but that doesn't outdo the cold hard cash show.
Well, see, they're pushing.
Well, they both got money.
Who went to school with who?
It does get
political. They both got money.
Yeah.
Actually, the state of Florida is pushing the law through, which is going to happen, where government agencies are no longer allowed to purchase and use Chinese brand drones.
Yeah.
They already have a date in Florida.
They've already got it.
So what's really interesting is that they're still going to get around that, and they're still going to use DJI because I've been with this M30, like everybody and their mother in my area in terms of law enforcement has found out that I have this drone and have been contacting me to do these demos. So I think that by now I've done like 10 or 15 of these demos for different agencies, and all of them, they go, is this a Chinese-made drone? And I say yes, and they go, okay, then we need to find a way to fund it. Like they basically are like, we want this drone and we need this drone because it's going to get the job done for us. So we need to figure out how we're going to make it work.
Right.
The question is who the hell else do they use if this happens? I mean,
exactly, because
the state of Florida. Who the hell are they going to use?
Well, Matt, you saw that list. You saw that list of the 5 drones that the state of Florida approved. Alltel was one of them. Parrot was one of them, and then the other 3 companies I'd never heard of before.
Well, thank God they approved another Chinese company, right? In Alltel, like
Alltel.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
I find it so embarrassing how much better the M30 is than the Skydio X2. Having not flown the Skydio X2, I haven't flown it, but just on paper and just from what I've heard, the M300 blows it out, or the M30 blows it out of the water, and is like $6,000 cheaper.
You know what else is crazy is that isn't the M30 cheaper than the Evo 2 Pro Enterprise?
I think it's around the same price.
How the hell did they do that?
Well, that's just Alltel. Alltel thinks that their product should be like.
Alltel's always a little overpriced, Matty.
That's not the worst of it. Skydio hits you for $2,500 a year for the enterprise plan, for the mapping and the software.
He's going to go get the M30. I think
$2,500. DJI is giving you all the software, all the mapping software, and everything for free. Skydio hits you for $2,500 annually, son.
Wow.
For the license. It's a $2,500 a year annual license.
Well, see, they hope to sell that drone to big corporations and write all that offline.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, the military don't give a shit about that. Yeah, the military. You know,
Drone Nation is buying one of those.
Yeah, we got to write off as a tax loss over here.
yeah.
I'll tell you,
X2 is cool as fuck too, but
it is cool, but I mean,
$30,000.
Shit.
Like $30,000.
You know, I mean, I look at what Skydio is doing right now, and they're still a young company, man. Like they need time. They need time to grow, and And always in the early days, you have, you know, an overpriced product. I mean, you look at what they did from Skydio R1 to Skydio 2. I mean, they knocked down the price by 2.5 times. So they're still growing, and I'll give them credit because they do make a really good drone.
Yep.
Yeah, they make a really good drone. And I was watching Ken stream the other night, man. It is due. I mean, I know they came out the Skydio 2 Plus, but a Skydio 3 is long overdue.
I can see one. I can definitely see one. The Skydio X2 was a little incremental with the antennas, I guess. Is that pretty much? I mean, they didn't do much to it.
Yeah.
Except that waypoint feature, which was
people love
kind
that
of,
and that waypoint.
Yeah, but that's kind of odd though that you actually have to fly the route in order to make the waypoint thing
that's
work.
The way
right?
waypoints were in the old days, Matty. And when waypoints first came or vetted, you had to fly them and record it.
But you know, the new features that were added, like 2 of them became available for old Skydio 2 users. So really the only change was the upgraded antennas. That's the only thing that you got. And it almost makes me wonder, like it was almost just like a test. They're like, hey, let's see how this works if we want to do it in future drones, you know?
How is the camera on that Skydio 2?
It's good. It's like a GoPro, you know? It's like good colors, you know, good dynamic range. They used GoPro's like ex-engineers to develop their camera, so you know it's spot on. It's good, but you know it's what kills it is the control of the drone. You can't control the thing. I mean, it's like it's tough, you know.
Yeah, because the drone's always in a void mode or whatever, so it doesn't really fly straight for you. And the camera thing, the camera's good if you're the type of person that just likes to take video and post it right up. You don't want to do anything with it. Colors already pop and whatever. It looks good coming right off the memory card. No need for editing. That's what's good about it.
Yeah.
Hey, how about totally switching gears? How about the Snapchat drone?
I saw that.
I posted that in Drone Nation.
I actually watched iJustine's review on that fucking thing.
How'd it go? I didn't see it.
It's kind of a waste of space in my opinion.
Yeah, dude, it's so cheesy.
It's just stupid.
It's like 3. How much is that? It's
like $250.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was $290.
Yeah, Billy, write Snapchat, get him one for a review. I'd love to see you review that thing.
I think it's a kid thing.
I ordered one, and it's like 13 weeks out for the shipping.
Oh wow!
You better contact them. Tell them you're a big YouTuber. You need that thing right next week.
I tried DMing them to see if they would like. I don't want one for free. Just push my order up. Like just try to get my hands early.
Yeah.
But I haven't gotten any response yet.
Snapchat. It is interesting to say the least. I mean, it's got a little follow mode on it, and I think it's more for the kid-friendly type game.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, there's no control.
I haven't even seen it. Is it similar to the one that used to be flat?
It's a little square.
It is, dude. It kind of looks like those old. What were those drones?
Well, Zero Robotics made one that was flat and it folded and you unfolded. It had a little camera.
This is more toyish looking than that line.
It looks kind of like that, but it's small.
But more toyish.
Yeah, it's got little brushless motors on it and everything.
And the propellers are protected. You'd really have to try hard to mess the propeller up in this. There you go.
Okay.
But
see how toyish it looks.
Yeah, it's got a little knob.
Kind of cool in a way. It's kind of a retro. It looks like a retro '80s. There's no controller from a sci-fi movie.
No controller. Nothing.
It looks like the kids on Stranger Things should be flying it.
Yeah, it's a kid thing. I think it's.
Is it right here?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's got. There's no controller. You don't fly it with your phone. You just you push a button and it takes off in the palm of your hand and it just uses an optical flow sensor.
And from what I've seen, the footage is pretty shaky. It's not. Electronic image stabilization is no good.
Well, it's all electronic image stabilization. Don't fly in the wind or anything. Indoors, it works a lot better than outdoors.
Yeah, Snapchat. With their the glasses. I feel like it's just something to get their name out there. Like, whoa, look at what Snapchat is doing. So I feel like it's more of like a collectible item.
A promo.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to sell that well. I really don't.
No, it's kind of like Billy. It's kind of like an Android phone, a collectible.
Kiss my ass.
Drone companies always mess up with marketing.
I'd buy Apple too. I'd buy an Apple phone if I was gay.
now you're starting a political war out here, Lon, or whatever. Apple versus
whatever.
Android.
They started it. We're minding our own business.
Yep.
Apple guys, they have an inferiority complex.
We
like that little dog.
We would say, "Fly what you got. Talk on what you got."
We never start shit. We're never the ones to start shit. Apple's always the one to start shit. We just finished.
I hear the iPhone's gonna have always on display next year. Whee! They'll
make a big deal now, like they invented that.
Yeah, they invented it. Always on display.
I don't have an old Apple Watch. I don't even have always on display on the watch.
Yeah,
it looks good.
They're gonna have that next year. They're gonna invent it next year.
Yeah.
Tim Cook's working on it right now.
Yeah, Tim Cook invented wireless charging. I invented all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So, hey, I have a question. I noticed that controller, that ground station, Billy, for the M30, a pretty freaking sweet controller, huh?
It is, but man, it's heavy. It's all like it's almost counterintuitive. You need a lanyard or something to be holding that thing because it's tough. I mean, a couple times, you know how you do like the one-handed thing where you hold it with one hand to like adjust something or whatever.
I saw you. Didn't you almost drop it?
Dude, I almost lost the controller. It almost totally fell out of my hands. You got to hold it with one. You got to hold it with two, or you got to like.
You got to go to the gym before you get that controller.
Yeah, you're holding it like this, and then if you need to adjust it, you got to grab it by the center underneath, and then hold it with one hand in the middle.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a good controller, though. I mean,
it is
like
nice.
when you're holding it, you have all these different custom buttons to hit, and like it's there. And I hope that they use that controller for the Inspire 3, or I hope that they give you the ability to use that controller or the RC Pro, with the Inspire 3.
I think it would work considering its enterprise level. I would think it would work with the next enterprise drones, which Inspire is obviously enterprise. With them coming out with that new design, with the size of that controller and the way it works and all the buttons on it and everything, I can't see them not using that controller for the new Inspires.
No, they will. The Matrice 300 used the smart controller.
I know.
Yeah. So
how stupid was that? That was so stupid.
Oh,
it was a different version of it, though, right? It was like
it was the enterprise version. You can use a regular smart controller. When I first got the smart controller, I had DJI, the Pilot app, on it, and I was flying my Mavic 2 Pro around on the Pilot app, just jacking around and shit. Yeah, you can fly around on the Pilot app and do waypoint missions and shit. Everybody was crying. You're no waypoint. I go, really?
Let's see what Eddie's.
Go ahead, Johnny. Put it up.
No, I'm just saying what Eddie.
Yeah, he's playing.
Yeah, there you go.
The fact that I'm talking about the Inspire 3 means that I don't have it, dude.
Yeah, no kidding, dude.
Well, we did talk about the Mini 3 too. I've heard a lot of talk about that, but.
So, Billy, I know you're not a big FPV guy, but what do you think about that? The new FPV coming out.
Devonta.
Here's the thing is, man, I mean, we know that DJI has had such a lock on the consumer GPS drone market and whatever. I mean, I think that they need to make a push to get FPV, up and running within their lineup. I mean, you have 3 or 4 different versions of GPS drones that you can buy. They need to get to that level with their FPV drones too. They need to have different versions for different flyers. They need to have one for freestyle. They need to have one for cinema. They need to have one for this, one for that. They need to have one that can hold the X9, right? They need to have something that's a super high end option. Like they need to have these different rungs for different types of people, different types of flyers. And I feel like that's just what this new one coming out is going to achieve, and that's why I think it's nice that we have all these consumer drones coming out, but I wouldn't mind if they pumped the brakes a little bit and started pushing the FPV more, because it would certainly get me more into it. I mean, I'm not the one to sit there and build drones. It's just not my thing. Right. So if I could fly using a pre-made drone, I would be happy with that. And people will give me shit for that.
Yeah, Lon, you talked about the price. The price can't be much different because the controller and the goggles are a big portion of that price.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm guessing that it's going to be right around $1,000 for the whole
probably.
Kit. It
is going to be with a new set of goggles. It's going to be with a new set of goggles, the V3s, and
it's going to work with the Action 2. Okay, mark my words.
Me and you talked about that.
It's going to work with the Action 2.
There's a piece on top of that drone that looks like
it's going to clip right on top.
Yep.
I'm willing to bet anybody money right now.
The Action 2 has those magnetic points underneath it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Click. It's going to pop right in. Yep.
It's going to go click.
We said that right from the very beginning.
It wouldn't be a bad idea. And I just think that with how much FPV is growing steam right now, I think that if DJI continues to add some fuel to that fire, FPV could get bigger, which would be great for the community, and it would just get more people involved. So I think that they need to kind of catch the wave of like the popularity of FPV and make it easier for more people to get into. Because really, the best way to fly FPV is to build your own drone right now. Like, you're not going out and buying DJI's FPV drone if you're a real FPV flyer, because that's not what you're doing. But if they do finally come out with something that's for that professional, you know, that could be really big for them.
That's just something that's going to hit big time with the 107 flyers when it comes to working jobs or doing certain things. Like, they see how much this shit's growing. You know, people using FPV now for movies and TV shows and reality series shows. So they're making the right move, I think, by hitting all aspects of the market.
Yeah.
I'm
like Billy, really for the people who don't want to build, especially, you know, that's the way to go. Would be one of the ways to go if you didn't.
Well, it's a transition drone too, because it has the safety features of a GPS drone. It's going to have, you've seen the bottom sensors, so it's going to hover and all that cute stuff. It's going to have a return to home. It's going to have, you know, all that cute shit. You know? So,
I think so. And then
it might even have obstacle events.
What about people who said it is not going to fly an acro? I mean, that wouldn't make sense.
I think that's
they're fucking stupid.
Yeah,
I think that's bullshit.
Why would
people love to start shit?
Yeah, I mean, that don't even remotely make sense there, though, you know.
A lot of these guys that you see doing these cinematic shots with FPV drones, the ones that are doing movies and shit, none of that stuff's in stabilized mode, because there's certain things you can't do. Let me tell you something about stabilized mode. It's the shittiest looking video you could possibly put out in FPV, because all you're doing is, as soon as you let go of the sticks, it stabilizes and it throws the fucking camera all over the place. You can't do any smooth movements in stabilized mode whatsoever. Because sooner or later in your video, all you have to do is let go of the stick, and you're going to see the camera go pong, and it bounces right back to stability. So to not put manual mode on an FPV drone, that's just silly. That's just stupid rumor is what that is. There's no way.
Sam, let me answer, Sam. I hear what you're saying, Sam, but the mistake they made, they're going to fix with this drone, is they put the camera and the FPV camera the same camera.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, well, when you're able to put the Action 2 on top, that's going to solve that problem.
Yeah, that camera sucked.
But I think I could see them. But I could see them putting a camera on here, like say if it's equivalent to the Air 2 or the Pocket 2 or something. That'd be a pretty damn good fucking FPV camera.
You mean as a second camera?
No,
as an old camera.
No, that's the problem.
As their FPV camera,
right?
Because
you can't do it because you got a latency. You got to worry about latency. You got to worry about this. You got to worry about that. You solve the problems by separating the cameras.
I know, but if you see what camera they had on the DJI FPV drone, you have to admit that is by far the best FPV camera put on an FPV drone. When it comes,
it's the best FPV camera. It's the fucking shittiest GPS.
Now imagine
drone camera.
Imagine them upgrading that camera. Imagine them upgrading that camera to where you don't even need a second an action cam on top.
I think there's something else that we need to consider too. There's something else we need to consider too. First generation product, like it's a first gen product. You know what I mean?
It was.
So, like there's and they built something. It not only was it first generation for them, but they built something that nobody else has built. So who knows how it's going to work? Who knows how it's going to? You know, I think that drone was a huge learning lesson for them, and it was a learning lesson for the community. Because people were like, what do we need? What do we actually want? I mean, for me, I feel a lot safer flying that drone with all the safety features built in. So I would hope that they continue to have those moving forward.
It's the little things, like even being able to tilt the camera. You can't do that shit on an FPV drone.
Being able to tilt the camera is huge in FPV.
That's huge.
Huge. It's monster. How many times have the FPV guys launched your drone and go, fuck? You have to bring it back because you don't have the right
depending on what you're doing. Yeah, like if you're doing crazy freestyle, you're all the way up. But if you're doing something slow, you're down. So being able to tilt the camera
with the DJI FPV in one flight.
Yeah, it is. It is nice because when I'm like, hey, I want to get after it, I can change my tilt mid-flight, and I don't have to worry about adjusting the tilt of the camera.
Right. And like you said, those safety features, those are big.
Yep,
those are big.
Yeah.
Now on this new one, I can almost guarantee you they're going to have a GPS on it. Because if they don't, what's the point of the obstacle avoidance sensors on the bottom? There is no.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be GPS. That's not the question.
When you think about it, like I think all of DJI's drones are going to have GPS. It's a thing that they do, you know, whatever. But you know, as these drones are used more professionally, I just think that people are going to demand these safety features, like using them on big movie sets and stuff like that. Like there's going to become a time where showing up with your home built drone is just going to be like, why are we hiring this guy? You know what I mean? Like, it's going to get to a point where people need to be using something that's a little bit more safe, and there'll be those type of requirements. I mean, in the beginning, people were probably carrying, look at like the old M600 and those large drones. Like, they were using those to carry big cinema cameras, and now it's like, dude, just use the Inspire 2. You know what I mean? Like, it's a built-in system and whatever. And I think it's just going to kind of get to that point.
Yeah.
Right. And the other thing with it, that if I was designing it, I would have that gimbal carry both cameras. So you have a one-axis gimbal for the FPV, and it also would tilt the Action 2.
Right?
You know what I mean?
That would be
that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
But to the point of that Action 2 being compatible, I think there's something there, like we talked about with the points, the magnetic points being on that Action 2. I have a feeling that top that lifts off, there's going to be magnetic points there that'll run that Action 2. I really do. I think that's going to be one of the reasons why they're going that route, and then having the Action 2. That's probably why they did the Action 2 in the freaking first place, because they had something backing up. They had something coming for it.
They build all these products.
All big picture, man.
And groups. When the Mavic 2 came out, the Robo Master was already on the books. The Pocket was already on the books. The Osmo was already on the books. And then he rolled.
Remember that leaked picture where they were all the products were on that table?
Yeah, I'm telling you. That's just how they do it, man. And the other stuff that comes out. And the Air 3, before I forget again, the Air 3 is going to have a 1-inch sensor with variable aperture. That's what they're going to do with the Air 3. Okay. They're gonna put variable aperture back in.
That's true.
How could they come out with a drone that's inferior to the Air 2S? They couldn't come out with a drone that has a worse camera than the Air 2S, because then why would you want to buy something with a smaller sensor when the Air 2S already exists?
True.
So it's gonna have the 1-inch still, but it's gonna have a variable aperture. It's probably gonna have
360-degree optical avoidance. I guarantee you, it'll be 360.
And they're gonna be able to look up 60 degrees. I think they're gonna use the same design from the Mini 3 on the Air 3.
Change the.
It's gonna be able to look up, and it's also gonna have the port. It's also gonna have the vertical. I think it's gonna have vertical too.
I think that at least in this like product cycle over the next couple of years, the vertical shooting is going to be a definite. But I could see them, if it becomes not as much used, I could see them phasing that out after a while if people if things change, obviously. Yeah. But I think that for the time being, when we're consuming content on Instagram and TikTok, that's going to be a must.
Yep.
I guess
it's already designed, in my opinion.
TikTok and Instagram Reels do in the future. If they start to become less popular, it'll be less reason to put vertical video on the drones.
Because it's just added engineer dollars. I mean, they could save money by just making a traditional camera.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was saying while they dropped some of these features. You guys go, why do they drop this feature and they drop that? Because nobody fucking used it. The gesture controls on the Air, who used that? Come on, for real. You used it once. You said, hey, check this out.
and that came out that came out in the Spark.
Yeah. And then you did one of these, you do one of these, and you got it to move in and out, and you're
like, here's a good question. What is I don't know because I've never used them. I have waypoints on my FEMI, but what is the point of waypoints if you're not doing like building surveying or something like that? Yeah. What is the actual what is the reasoning for it?
I think that people just think it's fun to see the drone fly itself. Like I really think that a majority of the people are like, whoa, look, it's flying itself. So
holy shit.
That's a majority of it.
Never had any interest in waypoints, not even a little.
Neither have I.
Matty, can I say something that's maybe a little bit politically incorrect here, especially in the old days?
Ron, look what channel you're on. Who gives a shit?
Going back to the Mavic Pro era, when the drones didn't have quite the distance they have now, with the waypoints, you could fly out of range and still have the drone complete the mission.
No, you couldn't.
Yep.
No, you couldn't.
That's true.
Well, out of range with
you had to fly the route first.
No, you couldn't. You could tap the points.
Yeah, tap the fly. That's two different. Wait a minute.
No, you could tap and place your points and waypoints
on the map itself. Yeah.
The waypoints on this.
You could program it on the map.
I can program it on the map. I can
within
do that.
The DJI Go app. Dude, I had a job that I was doing across Pennsylvania doing these solar fields, and these fields were miles long. So I would sit there on one end and I would put a waypoint at the opposite end so that it would do a big loop all the way around, and I would lose signal as I went out to the other end. but then when it came back around, it'd pick up signal. So you could touch on the whatever.
Yeah, and Lon, you see the beauty of that. He could get outrageous, lose signal, and the drone wouldn't do the automatic return to home. It would keep doing its waypoint.
That's mostly because it's losing video signal before RC signal, which is going to happen all the time. That's the same thing in FPV. You're going to lose your video way before you lose your actual RC signal. Of course,
It'll still trigger return to home. I mean, and that's interesting too. You'd have to turn off return to home. Otherwise, your drone's going to get really confused. Wait, I got to go back. Nope. I got to go over there. Wait, no, I got to go back. Nope, I got to go.
Yeah.
Well, with waypoints, you can set it and you can say, hey, like if you can tell it, like if you lose signal, continue your mission. That's what you can tell it. You check off the box.
Yeah. And most of the time, that was the default setting usually. That you know, if you lose signal, complete your mission. And we're talking about DJI drones, but other drones like the what was the parent drone, the Anafi? It had waypoints and it had terrible range. But if you put waypoints in, the Anafi didn't care about the range. It would do the waypoints even if it was taking it out of range.
It's so Jim absurd. Is right. Yeah, Jim is right. He's saying you could do it. I remember I got 2 Crystal Skies. You could program it on your Crystal Sky before you left the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember now. I've never used it.
If it was an older DJI drone where it had lithium, and of course you could do everything in a lithium. You could program it from your computer. You need to be at the site.
Yep. It's so sad. It's so sad to think that if Autel added waypoints, that would be a big selling feature for it because people love waypoints so much.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah. So people love talking about waypoints. It's just it's just like night flying. It's the same fucking thing.
The same fucking thing we're doing right now.
Night imagery on a drone. Who the fuck flies at night?
Yeah.
I mean, no one. It's the same thing with waypoints. It's the same
shit. There's only
4th of July every year.
5% of the community cares about waypoints and night flying, but they're the most vocal 5% in the whole community.
Oh yeah, it's like transgenders and shit. It's like the smallest group of motherfuckers got the biggest mouth. It's crazy.
There we go. There we go.
It's crazy.
Mr. Bryce.
It's like what?
In my opinion, I think it sounds great, and just like Follow Me and all these other, and tracking and all, it sounds great in practice, and you use it for a while, and like anything else, you just lose interest in it after you've done it about 10 times.
It's one of those situations where it's just like quick shots. I mean, you do a quick shot in a location, and when are you going to do it? You're going to do it more than once, and not likely. I've tried the master shots before, and I like the master shots. But how often do you really use it?
Say you probably did them a couple of times when you first got the drone and never.
I did, and never used it again because I'm.
I mean, it's nice to have these things in that tool bag, just in case there's something that comes up and you're like, "Wow, I'd really like to check that out and check that out and check." Now,
one thing the Mini 3 has that I am very happy to see is the spotlight feature, where you can actually lock your on target and fly manually without that camera losing.
That's a great
target.
Feature.
That's big because that spotlight feature is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to orbit something and you don't want to do it manually? Fuck doing it manually. Set the camera on the location and fly it, and it'll never lose. It'll never come off the center of that.
I kind of like the challenge of flying it manually, to be honest with you.
I do too, but if you're doing a cinematic video, spotlight, man, you can't lose.
I like flying.
Yeah.
I like flying.
No, I like it. I like better. I've never actually used it in any of my videos. Like when I did that, I've done a few spotlights on lighthouses with you guys. I remember with you guys, I did it. And I did it all manually.
It's nice to have. It's like flying out on the boat when we were flying that Monday. That was all manual. I didn't spotlight that, but it'll look a lot better if you're doing a video on, say, YouTube or something, or you're putting something out there that you want it to look really good, to where you don't lose the center camera action. Then spotlight's the way to go.
Maybe I used to lay ceramic tile. And ceramic tile, the value of it in the sense is that it's not perfect. You put linoleum in your kitchen or you put ceramic tile. And when I look at orbits that are done by the drone, it's obvious as hell. You know what I mean? And it's robotic and it's sterile. When someone flies their own orbit, the little mistakes is what makes it better.
Yeah, I agree. I understand. I get it.
And you also a manual orbit does look better. I totally agree.
Yeah, and you have the flexibility to make.
Can I back the conversation up back to something I know nothing about that you guys were talking about earlier? Because that's why you kept telling me to come on in, and it's like I don't want to dumb down the committee here. But you were talking about cameras that would be great to be able to pitch the camera on FPV. What all these years that have gone by, and especially on larger frames, 5.7s, whatever. Has anyone ever came up with the idea of putting on a micro help me
servo
out.
motor, stepper motor.
Thank you. A micro servo motor, and because the commands wouldn't be very complicated, but on a board to be able to and even if it just pitched in degrees, it doesn't have to be smooth, just to get it to where you need it. Has anybody done that?
Well, I've seen them done for head tracking mode, where you fly the drone using your head, wherever your head turns, the gimbal turns. I've seen that done, but I'm not really sure.
Yes.
Why they don't do it, or why they don't choose to do it, is a good question. But it would have a lot.
They do it.
Also, with like your radios, to be able to have to put a radio out, the radio has to speak to the drone,
right?
And it has to have a gimbal wheel on it. I just don't know how that would work in a situation. I don't know. I'm not sure why.
They programmed it to
so you could use a 2-position toggle and down, and or 2 in each
would
direction.
have to be. It would probably have to be a momentary switch. Yeah, but
Right.
understand.
They did it.
I'm not sure on what. I don't know. You would know. Lon's older. Lon's the.
It's been done. I keep saying it. God damn it! It's been done. You use one of the toggle switches, and it had a 4-position step motor, and you just went click, 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 click to change the angle. Yeah.
Who did it?
It was like 15, 30, 60, and something, and 65 or some bullshit. I can't remember what it was, but it had a 4-position step. I think iFlight or Betaflight or somebody came out with it several years ago.
Okay, but now would that motor be strong enough to also say potentially move your GoPro on top? Like, could it move not only the camera on the front that you're using?
No, it was just for FPV. It was just for FPV strictly. When you want to go faster at FPV, you got to tilt the camera. So what they did was it was just a flick. And and you could program it to when you went from, okay, now bear with me here. The 3 different modes: acro, stabilize,
and
horizon, right?
Horizon.
Yeah,
Horizon.
Yeah, when you change the mode to change the angle of the camera.
Now, see, on my end,
that's
flying FPV drones and crashing FPV drones and having to fix FPV drones, that would be one thing that would be a pain in the ass to fix. It's a goddamn servo, because you crash into a tree head first, break the servo, and now your camera's screwed. So I don't know. It just
I'd imagine you could just anchor the camera and fly it like you were flying without one.
Well, see, that's the good thing.
Right, exactly. It's no different.
The good thing about the cameras these days is their field of view is pretty big. So no matter which way, however much you tilt your camera, most of the time you could see it all anyways, because the field of view is really well.
Yeah.
But having a servo, I don't know. I mean, I would try it, but is it something that I would want to use? I don't know, because it seems like it would be a pain in the ass.
Max says you could hook an arm for the servo to the GoPro.
Yo, guys, I'm gonna jump and go watch some Stranger Things before I head to bed. So
yeah, man.
Well, I'm a Billy too. I got to catch that first episode of Stranger Things.
Yeah. Billy got to get up early and head to FedEx.
Yeah, dude, I gotta find a box to ship that thing in. That's the hurdle I gotta jump over.
They sell them at FedEx.
I'll find somebody
I'll add it
that
to your
ships
bill.
up the Memorial Day weekend, Billy.
Yeah.
What's that?
Good luck finding somebody that ships up the Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, they're probably open.
No, they're open Saturday. They're open.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Well, John, Billy, and Ron, I appreciate you guys coming on. Billy, thank you for
Billy, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. You're welcome.
It was awesome you guys do this together, so I'm happy we can make it work.
Yeah, appreciate it. And hopefully see you. We'll have you on again sometime. I go on Tuesday nights, so every now and then I'll give you a shout, see if maybe you want to
dude, definitely. Just shoot me a text, shoot me a call, whatever.
You got it, brother.
All right, dude.
Thank you, bro.
Thanks,
Later,
Billy.
guys.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Later, little bro.
Later, bro.
And with
Bye,
that being
Ron,
said,
you old dog.
we're actually probably, you guys, I mean, anything you want to BS about, or before we get off here? We've been on for a minute or hour and 30 minutes, so
Yeah.
this was just kind of the last minute. I'm glad it worked out. Thank you, by the way, Lon, for reaching out to him to get him over here for us. 'Cause, I was just expecting some bullshit session just to talk, because they weren't on. So
Hey, the thing is that the Mini 3 Pro, it's fun. This stuff is fun because all the talk leading up to it, everybody was like, it's going to be over $1,000, and all the nano people. And
it
stuff
was
like that.
it was exciting. It really was.
I heard a lot higher guesses than that. 14, 1,500. It's going to be as much as the Air 2S. More than the Air 2S and blah blah blah. And like Ron, I think you said it. I even said it. It's going to come in a little cheaper than the Autel. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're just going to drop it just a little cheaper than the Autel, and it's
$200, brother.
They can do it.
It's 25%. It's 20% cheaper
with that controller too.
With a regular controller, it's $200 cheaper. Yep. It's still cheaper with the better controller.
Yeah, I'm seriously
and
considering.
It's arguably a better drone.
Now a better drone. I should say that knowing you and there's certain things that you like to do that maybe you wouldn't do with your Mavic 3. I think having a Mini 3 in the arsenal to do those would be good. For situations like, flying under bridges or close to water or in between pilings or whatever it is,
Well, here's the thing about that. I thought about that, and here's the thing I've learned, because I bought the first Mini for that kind of shit. And I realized when you underbuy the drone to do stuff because you don't want to be worried about losing the drone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But then the drone isn't as capable. True. The Mavic 3 would be less likely to crash in any of those scenarios than the Mini 3 Pro. The Mavic 3 has upward sensors and sideways sensors. Yeah. I fly through bridges sideways with the Mavic 3 all the time, through girders and shit. Well, I fly through them all the time sideways because it's got sideways sensors, so I'm not worried about it.
Wouldn't you feel better, though, about dumping a Mini 3 than you would a Mavic 3? You know what I mean?
Yes, but the Mavic 3 is less likely to crash.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
That's my point. You know what I mean? The Mavic 3 is less likely to crash in the first place.
Oh, especially the side sensors. I mean, they're showing that the angle of the sensors does give it some upward protection, but there's no side protection whatsoever. No, I was watching a video where a guy was testing it out, and he right into a tree. It did great. It did great tracking, excellent tracking, and he decided to have it track from the side, and it immediately went into it.
The guy who tracked with the Mini 3, that was pretty cool. Though he was walking through those woods, and
that was that one guy, dude. He walked around for about 15 minutes, dude. I know. That drone followed him all over these woods. I was like,
it's impressive. I got to admit, it is definitely impressive.
Skydio 2 wouldn't have done it. The Skydio 2 wouldn't have done it because the gaps are too small.
Yeah, the 2 meter. What is it? It's got a certain amount of meters that it won't move.
Like a 3 meter fucking bubble or something. It won't move. Isn't it? A 6 foot bubble.
It just sit there. Yeah,
that's crazy.
The one I was watching was comparing the two, the Skydio 2, the new Skydio, and
you're talking about DC Rainmaker.
DC Rainmaker.
Yeah, where you ran it through that center of trees, that path.
Yeah. And the Skydio kept swinging outside of him and swinging back inside and swinging around.
It does. It has a mind of its fucking own. I mean, it'll go in areas.
Did a great job. But, I mean, the video sucked.
But it does shit that you don't necessarily want it to do. Like it'll do things on its own that you don't really want it.
All over the place.
Fucking insane. Well, it overthinks the problem. The Mavic 3 is almost as bad now. Don't get me wrong. The Mavic 3 is almost as bad because it's getting all that information in at the same time, and the computer's going, you know what I mean? Where the Mini 3, it's got just these 2 little sensors in the front. That's all the information it has. Yeah. So it works for that. So if it has an obstacle here, the Mini 3 goes, well, okay. But it just kind of eases around it, right? The Mavic, the Skydio would go, whoa! Whoa! To get around it. You know what I'm saying? And the Mavic 3 would pretty close to do something like that. But the Mini 3, it only has the front sensor, so it just goes barely past it. Because it doesn't know what's going on over here, right? So it's like, okay, we're not going to risk it over here, so I'm going to make me a plot where I just barely miss the obstacles I know about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a spot where he said that the Mini 3 did better than the Mavic 3. There was a spot where the Mavic 3 got hung up and just it didn't hit anything, but it hung back, and the Mini 3 actually got up and around and accomplished and kept on him.
I think it's taking more chances. I think the algorithm is looser on the Mini 3 than it is on the Mavic 3. Yeah, I think the algorithm's letting it, because it's smaller for one, so that allows it to go through smaller spaces. Right off the bat, right? And I think it's a superior tracking drone for that reason.
Yep.
Doesn't overthink it, and it's smaller in the first place. and you're less anxious about it, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know,
$900, $2,700.
$2,000. Yeah, $2,000, or you got And
so
the
Bill,
pair refresh on the Mini 3 is only like $60.
You only care about 1/3 as much, yeah.
Bill, you're gonna buy one? You think?
I wasn't going to because I have my Air 2S, my Mini 2, and I figure it's good and whatever. But the more I keep hearing and seeing and thinking about it, but I think so, yeah. But I'd probably sell the Mini 2 though, because then I'd have absolutely no use for it.
Yeah.
But the which is fine. But the thing is, I may just get just the drone. I may not necessarily buy the RC controller, the Pro controller. And I'll tell you why. It does it unless they increase the capabilities of it a little bit more. I mean, I stream once in a while live, and I do it because I'm lazy. I'm too lazy to edit my videos anymore. So I just here it is, raw, live. Here we go, and I just put it up there, and then I get content. And you can't stream with that controller, which to me is a big negative. That you can't stream with it.
For now, they made.
That's what I said. For now, 700 nits doesn't impress me in Florida. On a controller. I don't have an S22 like let's say Lon does, but even my OnePlus 9 Pro is 1,300 nits. And that's a shitload more.
That phone really it doesn't get hot. The Android, I mean, yours it doesn't dim at all.
I don't fly with it, so I can't speak to that.
I never had.
I got RC Pro, so
I got you.
I've never had any issues with this phone.
My tablet dims.
And I know Matt, you use a tablet.
Never.
So.
My 9 Pro doesn't dim. It stays just, and frankly, with direct sunlight and something, even 1,300, sometimes you gotta, you get your face a little closer. But so that's kind of a sunshade. Well, sunshade on an all-in-one controller, you're kind of defeating the purpose. The whole idea was this nice little controller with a screen built in and convenient. Yes, it's got more, a couple of more buttons on it that I'll probably never use. But don't get me wrong, it's not that much more money. I mean, if you go from the drone only at $669 up to $909, that's not a real lot of money. So to do it, just to have it, maybe.
Well, they had to keep separation between the controllers, like Billy said. I mean, you can't, you're not going to get the RC Pro for, I mean, we don't know what this. Somebody said $309. I don't know where that price came from.
I don't think so. The one thing I'm waiting on is that whole compatibility issue.
Yeah.
The only reason I would buy that new RC is if I found out that it was compatible with my Air 2S.
Well, that would seal the deal. I could use my Air 2S, absolutely.
Because I'm used to flying with a tablet. I love flying with a tablet.
You want a big ass tablet? Why would you even bother with the?
But because it would be convenient. It would be a convenience level, being able to take both drones out without having to worry about which controller to use. To be able to use that controller, I can deal with flying with a phone. I can deal with it. It's an option that I choose to do. Now, if there's a situation where I'm out and I have both drones and just one controller, it would be a lot more convenient for me, and I would make it work. I'm not opposed to using a smaller screen. I just like to use the bigger screen. I don't mind dropping to a smaller screen.
Well, that's another thing too. That screen is quite a bit smaller than the screen on my phone.
Mine's. I have a 6.1 inch or 6.5 inch screen, 6.1 inch, so it is bigger too. But to be able to use it for both drones, it would be a lot more convenient, without a doubt.
One of mine is about the same size as a S22. It's a 6.67.
Yeah,
6 3/4, 2/3. Yeah, it's a big screen, but
plus the gimbals, the controllers all around upgraded. It's got better gimbals on it, and to be able to use it without having to set up a phone or cable or whatever, it's convenient. It really is. Right. But I wouldn't buy it.
Sure the RC. Go ahead.
I wouldn't buy it if I can't use it with my Air 2S because it would be pointless, and then I might as well just use the tablet. So,
what do you think, Lon? You think they're going to eventually make it work with the Air 2S?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
it's not even in question.
Air 2S and the Mavic 3.
It's for them not to do it. Yeah. Why not?
Well,
they're stepping on their own toes. And me and Billy had this argument before. My friend, if you take $5 out of your right pocket and you put it in your left pocket, you still have $5. You know what I mean? DJI doesn't give a fuck which of their products you buy.
No.
As long as you're buying DJI.
They're making money no matter
what. They're making money. Everybody thinks that the RC Pro, they make more money on the RC Pro than they do on the RC. Maybe, but I bet it's not that much.
No, because the RC is going to sell a lot more. The RC is going to sell more because it's cheaper.
It's all about scale.
Yeah,
it's all about scale and numbers, baby.
Well, they need to give you an option. You know, you buy a drone and you buy a remote that you want to, that you want to fly with. It would be a great option. You know,
congratulations, by the way, Danish Stallion won the. I don't know if you guys know Bot Grinder. He was doing a battle an FPV battle.
Oh, really?
I think there were like 16 people in it or something, and Danish Stallion won. So good for you.
Danish Stallion is in Florida, right, Matty?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. He actually got into a bad accident, I believe, and he was kind of fucked up. He broke his collarbone, and had a. I think that was him, right? I believe that was but he won the battle, so that's cool, bro. Congrats on that. So
yeah, I don't know. You guys are. I hear what you guys are saying about the screen size differences.
Yeah,
that is quite a difference.
Oh no, that wasn't.
I think when the app is running, it doesn't. Does it pick up the whole screen when the app is running? I can't remember. I haven't flown with my phone in so long. Or does it bar it on either side? Does it do bar it on either side? I'm not sure.
It does. It fills the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you? Yeah. No, it fills the screen.
Okay, that wasn't Danish. That was Tony. All right. Sorry, wrong person.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yep.
So that is quite a difference. You can't argue that.
It is.
But I think the convenience thing, like Matty, I mean, I have the Mini 6 right here, of course, but you got to charge it. You got to. I mean, I know it's just something else to keep up with. It'd be very convenient to have that controller.
Well, I like to keep my phone charged anyway, Johnny.
Yeah, well,
it works so much better.
I got the Mini. I got the Mini, the 13 Mini. So it's definitely
a good phone. It's a good phone,
But it does dim. It will get dim now. I will say that.
Yeah, I've seen them go black with people out flying with people, and their phones go completely black. They freak.
I mean, even if you try to, use I try to catch some shade somewhere or something, but it will definitely. When you start off with 95 degrees,
invent a little clip-on pack that goes on the back of it, battery-driven cooling device or something that keeps your phone cool or something. Like you've got like electronic coolers that you can buy, to keep your, keep the safe.
They have that, but I don't. They have that for phones, but I don't think it would fit with the controller.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody makes it where.
Well, you'd have to design something that would work with the controller.
Yeah, that would
maybe on either goes in on either side of the antenna without interfering with it somehow.
Where's the processor though? Because the cooling system. It's got to go wherever the heat is, obviously, and it's got to be right where the processor is. So you can always get crazy and do one of these. Just put a 7-inch monitor on your RC, and you'll be all set. There you go.
Be right back.
Very cool.
Or you get like a 10-inch monitor if you want. You know what I mean? This is 2200 nits, so you're like, I'm out flying my drone on the surface of the sun.
What is that? What is that?
The Field World 7-inch 2200 nit monitor.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's one of the things about the RC Pro that the RC doesn't have. It has HDMI out, so I could run this to a monitor, like
right,
any monitor. Quite frankly, anything that takes HDMI in, I could run it to a recorder of some kind if I wanted to.
Yeah, and that was a big thing. Everybody was saying, they was thinking that little monitor was. I mean, that remote control is going to be the same as RC Pro. I mean, it's a stripped down version of
Right.
Very stripped down.
Yeah.
Well, the USB-C on it is limited. It doesn't have. It's not hooked up to a video chip.
Right.
I mean, basically, is so you can't do that.
It's just a charging port. The USB-C on the RC, the DJI RC, is just a charging port, I believe.
Well, it can transfer files too, can't it?
I don't know. I would have to imagine so because people are getting screen recordings off that.
Well, unless you're limited to taking the chip out and reading the chip, like you do with a drone.
I think you're limited to reading the chip. Yeah. I'm not 100% though. And you might be able to do Wi-Fi transfer. They might do something like that. But the resolution, by the way, on the screen recordings is horrid. From what I've seen, it's not good. It's not good at all. I think the resolution on the screen is lower. Billy doesn't think so, but I think so because you can play 4K videos on the RC Pro. If you take your card right out of your drone and plug it into the RC Pro, you can play up to 2160 on the RC Pro. But the new RC is limited to 1080. So I'm pretty sure that the pixels are less, but I'm not 100% though. But it would make sense because it's so much cheaper.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
I doubt you could watch 4K video on it because that would be a serious stress on the processor that's in that thing, and I don't know what's in it, to be honest with you. You know,
I'm guessing it's less.
You're probably just stuck to the what do you call version, the low res version, and being able to review it that way, which would probably look fine on a 5.5-inch screen. You know?
Right.
But,
Yeah.
But
no,
you
can't get on the
you
internet with it.
I'm sorry. No.
You can't get on the internet with it. There's all kinds of shit you can't do with the RC.
You can't. How do you update the Fly app in it?
What do you mean through the Fly app?
I
mean on the internet, as in going to Chrome.
Right.
Or Google, or looking up recipes, or or running third-party apps, or watching porn. I mean, you could send your drone out on a hyperlapse waypoint mission, and you can watch some porn while you're waiting for it to take its pictures. You know what I mean? Not that I would do something like that. You could. I'm just saying the RC Pro has a lot of capabilities. The RC now, it might be overkill for most people, and I don't disagree with that either. Most people would probably rather have had the RC instead of ponying it up to $1,200 for the RC Pro. If they get the RC for $500, a lot of people would have done that with the Mavic 3. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're
RC,
wrong.
Eddie says it only has a Fly app on it, so we know.
Right, it's not even the whole Fly app, because if the RTMP is in it, then what else is missing from it?
Well, I'm going to assume that the RTMP will be available sooner or later because, it wasn't on the regular Fly app on your phone, but then they did an update where it made it available. So
yeah,
I'm going to assume it's just a matter of time, just getting the bugs worked out. And I think it'll be on there.
Yeah,
I think.
I would agree.
Yeah, I would agree too. There's no reason for them not to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, and the RC Pro, you can hook up to 4G.
No, the only reason I can think of them not doing it is the amount of RAM that's in that unit and the processing power of the CPU that's in it, because that's an overlay of another process that's going on. Maybe it can't handle it. I don't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. The smart controller could barely handle it. Are you kidding me? The smart controller was dogging out, people trying to screen record, live stream, and fly their drone. And run before you fly in the background. You know what I mean? And the thing was all.
That's what's nice about having a powerful phone. I mean, you can obviously run the Fly app with all your processes running in the background, whatever's going on, and share the internet from it, to a tablet so that I could actually see the chat, and and still get my messages in the middle of a flight. But it can handle all that, without dogging.
Matty, you saw Michael was in here, so he made it in.
Oh, Mike, yeah, Fly Zone. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I've been having issues, but
hey, what a great stream! What a great stream for kind of last minute.
Yeah, it worked out, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad it worked out the way.
He's an awesome guest is why.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, Billy. Yeah, Billy. Well, so
you see what Eddie said? Eddie says so far the RC is smooth, no lagging.
Yeah.
So far, so good. It's also only running off one drone though, too. So we'll see how it works out. Hopefully, it works for everything else.
Well, that would be the question about bumping it up to use it with the Air 2S or the Mavic 3.
That's because
the transmission rate is the big issue when the smart controller, when you tried to run the Air 2S.
That's what but it also ran multiple apps too, right? So that may also been it ran the Go 4 and then it ran the Fly app. So
but no, mostly it was just the transmission rate and the resolution that was being pushed towards it. Just put a beating on it.
So, Lon, you think it
Plus the
will
fly up to
run
64
other?
bit.
You think it will like Flat Air 2S or the?
I can't see it not doing it. I can't see it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I kind of like.
You know
I
what I
kind
mean?
of agree with you, but then again, you could see on the other hand that. Well, I don't know. I kind of see that it. Yeah, I agree with you. I would think that it would.
I don't. Yeah.
This is money. It's money. It's
Yeah.
money. They're leaving money on the table. I think
Because even if you got an Air 2S and you don't want the Mini 3, you go out and buy that controller, you know, for less money than the RC Pro. So they make it a sale. Yeah.
It's all
Well, that's just it. There's a lot of people that say what I said earlier. That's nothing new. Hey, if it would work with my Air 2S, I'd buy it.
Right.
You know, and with the controller. If not, I'll just stick with what I have with the Mini 2 and the Air 2S.
Yeah, I
agree. I mean, it might be enough to push you over the edge because, I mean, if I want higher quality, you know, nicer video, I'll just put up the Air 2S. You know, I mean, I know I can't turn it sideways, but I don't really give a rat's ass about that. But
if you can fly sideways, you could. Yeah.
I couldn't. I have. Falling out of trees.
No, the Air 2S is a superior drone to the Mini 3 Pro. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. People keep trying to make it out like, you know, the Nano Plus or the Air 2S. There'll be the Mini 3 people that get it will say it's better than the Air 2S and they're out of their minds. It is not. It's a 12 megapixel camera versus a 20 megapixel camera. Okay. Right. A 1-inch sensor versus a 1/1.3 sensor.
Right. Bigger drone, more sensors, bigger drone,
better processing, faster, a higher bit rate.
Yep.
Stronger motors, faster speed.
Yep.
Yeah.
More obstacle avoidance.
Speed. Yeah.
More obstacle avoidance.
Yeah. If you're flying and it's borderline because it's windy, you're gonna have a lot more confidence, obviously,
Absolutely.
putting up an Air 2S. You know, because it's.
Well, people just need to stop. You know what I mean? If you buy what you can afford or you buy what you like, doesn't necessarily make it better than everything else on the planet. It makes it the best for you. And that's great. The Mavic 3 is the best drone for me. You know what I mean?
So Lon, if you didn't have a drone and wanted to spend that more than say $299, you know, for the Mini SE, would you just jump to the Mini 3 and skip the Mini 2?
Yes. Because image is my number one driver when it comes to buying drones.
Yeah.
Image is number one. And if I couldn't afford the Mavic 3 is what you're saying?
Well,
I didn't have a drone and I couldn't afford the Mavic 3 and I couldn't afford the Air 2S.
Exactly. Well, I mean, the Air 2S and the Mini 3.
If I had $1,000 to spend, period, I would buy the Mini 3 Pro.
Well, you could still get. I mean, the Air 2S and the Mini 3 are kind of close, pretty damn close on pricing. But you know,
no,
not really.
No, the Air 2S is $1,000 with just a controller, and the Mini 3 is $769 with just a controller.
How much are you spending on the Mini 3 with the
I think it's $660? Is it $7?
Let's go with the high end.
$769 if I'm not mistaken.
Let's go to the high end side.
The regular controller.
The Mini 3 Pro with the built-in screen and the Fly More. How much does it come out to total?
$1,058.
Okay, so for $200, you can get the Mavic Air, the Air 2S Fly More.
Well, you're backwards though, because if you want the drone with a screen in it, then you got to spend that $1,800.
Yeah,
to get the Air 2S with a screen, right? Or well, technically,
I think it's $1,750.
That's the $1,750 or whatever it is. But regardless, you're not spending $1,000 at that point. You want to.
Well, shit, you can get the Air 2S with the smart controller right now for 14 and change on DJI site with the original.
Oh, that's the old
original.
Yeah.
Right. So that's still $500 more than the Mini 3 with a controller with a screen on it, right?
Matty, I'm gonna hop off. I'm gone. I want to thank you.
Well, I'm actually going to end it now anyway. We've been on for almost 2 hours now, and I got some. I want to eat. I haven't eaten anything, so thank you.
What do you guys wait so late to eat all the time? What's going on at your house, man?
Because
you guys don't eat dinner till like 11, 12 o'clock at night. What the hell? You guys are the vampires?
It's an hour later. Yeah.
I stay up later than normal.
You see your teeth. Yeah, you guys are a bunch of vampires, dude. They don't eat dinner until 11, 12 o'clock.
Well, look, he's in the dark. I mean, look at that. No light.
I know. Look at that.
You're kind of scary.
Wow, man.
Well, thank you all.
Light, Matty.
Thank you, Lon. Thank you, Bill.
I'll bring it to the light. Appreciate it.
Go hit that buy button. Order that Mini 3.
Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you, everybody in the chats, for hanging out. Worked out. Actually turned out to be a good show. So, appreciate it. Everybody else, been a good night, and I will be on Tuesday night. So come join us on Tuesday night if you want. Everybody else, good night, guys.
Good night.
Later.
Peace, guys.